Coming up in this video, I'll be seeing whether I can attach some increasingly large and heavy sets to a genuine LEGO Levi's jumper, so stick around to find out how it goes. Hey gang, it's Will from AFOL Anonymous. So today it's a slightly different video than normal. I was clearing out my clothing closet and I found a LEGO item that I thought would be interesting to have a little look at. And I also found the like button in there, which you can click actually, and I'd really like it if you did. That's just a little joke for you. Anyway. In 2020, LEGO partnered with clothing brand Levi's to create a series of clothing that focused on, quote, celebrating self-expression, creativity, and nostalgia. They showcased bright, solid colours that reflected the simple coloured bricks of early sets, which made them quite striking to look at. The main draw of these clothes, to me at least, were the yellow 6x6 rubber base plates that were sewn onto each of the larger designs, which allowed you to attach LEGO bricks directly onto your clothes. Very cool in concept, especially when each clothing item came with an exclusive bag of Levi's dots with unique Levi's printed 1x1 tiles, which you could stick on in as many designs as you could dream up. I still have mine sealed here, and if you wanted your own, they go for about £15 on eBay. The reason I didn't open mine up was, of course, that using light plates on a jumper would be much more boring than seeing which sets I can attach onto my front before they get too heavy and painful to carry. But first, let's look at the jumper. This is the one that I picked up. It definitely jumps out more than just the plain red one. The amount of colours is insane, but it definitely made it harder to find an outfit that it worked with. You could see the plate here. The rubber texture of it gives it more grip than a normal base plate, so I think I might be able to attach some bigger sets than I initially thought. But let's find out. The first step for this was to go through the sets that I own and figure out which ones have structures in them that are 6 studs long by 6 studs wide. I wanted to get a few that were of different sizes so that I could build up, pun intended of course, to the heaviest one. First I searched through Brickset's new piece search feature for all the sets that included a 6x6 plate and filtered each colour by sets that I own. I then checked those sets to see if the piece was simply included in the set or if the set actually had a structure with a 6x6 base. 2 sets stood out. First, the 75267 Mandalorian Battle Pack has this small rocky build that's 6 studs by 6 studs wide and will be our lightest piece. Second was this set from the very early 2000s, 5921 Research Glider. Another landscape piece, this time a tree. Heavier than the rock section, so this will be our middle-sized piece. I was, however, still missing a final heavier build, but I didn't have any other sets with 6x6 base plates. So, I went through all the sets that I owned to find a building that had those dimensions for its base without actually using that base plate. And luckily, I found this beauty. 6265 Sabre Island from 1989. This set features a pretty tall structure for its size, which I can rip off and put straight on the jumper. Quick editor's note here. Well, I'm the editor, so I guess it's just a note. Anyway, I'd never built this set, but it turns out that although the top of the tower is a 6x6 plate, the base of the tower actually only has a 5x5 footprint. I couldn't find any other sets that I own that could fulfill this role better though, so we're going to stick with it. Now back to the video! Okay, so we're going to start with this little plate from the Mandalorian Battle Pack here. I'm a little bit worried about the Sabre Island piece because it doesn't actually come with a base plate, 6x6 base plate on the bottom, but I think this and the tree are going to fit really, really snug on this rubber base plate on here, and you can actually hear it just clicking in. That's a really, really satisfying sound. So there we go, it's just sat on there. Just go try it on. We can have a look how it is secured on there. This is how I imagine Star Wars YouTubers show up to parties. It's pretty secure actually, I'm pretty happy with that. It's obviously very light, so it's secured very, very easily onto there, but it's not falling or anything. Pretty happy with it. We're going to move on to something a little bit heavier now. Okay, so now I'm just going to rip this one off. I want to hear this satisfying noise. Listen in, guys. Oh, that was good. That is perfect. I'm just going to stick on the second one now. This is the slightly heavier tree piece from the Research Glider set. Also, bits are coming off. Bits are coming off already. I'll stick them on in a sec. This is slightly heavier, but it does stick on just as firmly with that 6x6 plate. And I'm also going to pop the pterodactyl on there as well to get a little bit more weight, and we'll see how that goes. So here's something for that 90s kid. You've got a detachable minifigure on here, and this adventurer's tree piece. It's feeling a lot heavier now. You can actually see it's properly dipping. There's this pull here. So this is starting to be a little bit too heavy. I do love this kind of accessory here. So far this is my favourite one, but we're going to see what the final one brings and if it actually holds up under the stress. Okay, it's time for another satisfying rip-off. Have a listen. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was alright. We're going to finish with the Sabre Island build, complete with a couple of pirates at the top. Now, as I said, this doesn't actually have an exact 6x6 plate at the bottom. It's just loose bricks, so it's going to be a little bit harder to attach here. I'm actually really struggling with this. I might have to go underneath, maybe? Try and push it on. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. You can hear it snapping into place there. Make sure we get it all the way around the edge, because otherwise there are going to be bits flying off this build. This is obviously, it's starting to seem like this is not really the intended the intended setup for the bricks to be on, but it is now attached. So let's see how it looks. Okay, so for my final fashion piece, you can see here it is completely falling off. I'm having to be very, very careful because a lot of these pieces are quite expensive, especially this big flag piece. I think the overall look is positive. I'm expecting a call from the Met Gala as we speak, because I think this deserves to be walking up and down the red carpet. I don't know if they have a red carpet at the Met Gala. Maybe not. But anyway, for your next LEGO theme party, you can definitely try out this, but I think you might have it end in tears if it fell off. So overall, the first one, fully attached. Second one, pretty much fully attached, but still stressed. This one, there's barely actually any attachment at all here. It's just two sides and that single piece there. So I'm going to take this off because I'm worried that it's going to come crashing down. So that was a bit of fun, something different at least. It was clear that the taller the structure was, the more it bent down on the jumper. I wouldn't necessarily recommend having Sabre Island on your chest if you're going on a night out, but maybe the Mandalorian rock piece could maybe win over some people at M&R Productions' birthday party, something like that. I feel like it was a nice send-off for this jumper, as it's actually too big for me now, so I'm going to be selling it at some point. But I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you wanted some more Pirates content, I made a video on the absolutely superb Enchanted Island set from the 90s, which you can check out. But until the next video, I've been Will from AFOL Anonymous, and I'll see you around, gang.